It's Friday. I had a long week and I can't wait to get off just to go home. Let's talk about it. For a long time, I was wondering, like, yo, why it seem like you work all week? Well, let me specify. I work all week. And like anybody, you can't wait for Friday all day long. You say, hey, boy, we made it. It's Friday. Shh. Oh man, let's just get this day over with. All of that 9 to 5 work talk. And then when you get off, you make your little runs. You got a little bit of energy because it's the weekend. But then when you get home, you be like, all right, what I'm gonna do tonight? And then you be like, well, don't club. I don't feel like going to nobody bar, paying for no overpriced tab. If I want to sip, the liquor store's still open. I can do that at the crib. I can eat good. It's just like you start finding like, okay, these things that used to excite me and make me really feel like, all right, it's the weekend, let me turn up or get lit or whatever, don't work no more. And I used to wonder, like, of course we attribute a lot of that to saying, you're just getting old. But to grow old is to grow wiser, right? At least that's the plan. So then I started to think, like, what is it? You try to look at it on the surface level. Am I being antisocial? Am I approved? Am I just getting older? Am I becoming boring? Then something pulls on you and be like, no, my spirit just doesn't want to do this anymore. So then I started to learn like to you embrace it. Don't get me wrong, social interaction is healthy, but you want to be around, steel sharpens steel. You want to be around people or things that make you think. And it just seems like the world is in the matrix. And I say that humbly because I fight every day to keep my flesh out of the matrix or what have you. And it's a process. I still have a issue sometimes with gluttony. Sometimes I might sip. Sometimes I don't make the best long-term spiritual decisions. This isn't about thinking you're better or whatever, but becoming conscious is definitely a start. And you start to take accountability and you start to slow yourself down and say, all right, what am I really trying to do here? And don't get me wrong, it's really an innocent intent. You don't worked all week. You just want to get off and just put your 9 to 5s on the shelf and all of that. But when you wake up the next day, either you don't feel good or you be like, man, I didn't need to spend that much money. You just start feeling like, okay, this is not fulfilling. You know what I mean? So I just want to know, like, is it just me? Or is it like and see a lot of times that this situation can spill over into other things of your life. So far as dating. You hear a lot of people talk about, it's piss in the dating pool and all of that stuff, but it's like the people who might be on what you on, they not outside. They do a lot of old people stuff. They get their gas before they get dark. They make all they runs. When they leave work, they make all they runs on the way to the crib. And once they get to the crib, whatever they forgot to do, it'll wait till tomorrow morning. You know what I mean? And it's like, because the world's different. A lot of people, just like you said, in the Matrix, just running around, just dancing the songs they don't even like that much, turning up. And really, all you doing is stuff that you do anyway. You know what I mean? A lot of times you get off, you go to happy hour, or, we all have our vices, whether you smoke, whether you eat good or whatever, whatever. You do that stuff anyway. Friday night, just an extra reason to me just to be reckless. Then it's the other nuances, risking your safety just to go hang in a pub or wherever you at, sports bar with a bunch of low vibration. Everybody high, everybody drunk. It's a bunch of people standing around in $2,000-3,000 outfits in the dark room where nobody can even see what you got on, but somewhere in your mind you feel so good. You feel so good having somebody's name on your shirt, and this person who designed these clothes probably don't even like you. You see so much emptiness. You see such void. And it's like, man, but then again, it's like, where do you find your release? Because that doesn't change the fact that, yes, on a Friday, you still want to hang out and kick it. You want to just relax, get away from your script. During the week, you might be in school, you might be studying, you work 2 jobs, you got kids. On the weekends, you just be like, yeah, I just want to hang out. But then you be like, but damn, there's really not any night fun for productivity. Or I mean, of course, don't get me wrong. Of course, unless you're a part of a group, and yes, there's bowling, yes, there's pool, but it just seems like I don't know, just being outside. I just find myself. I just feel better being home. I'm in my peace. I don't have to figure nothing out. I don't have to figure nobody else out. And I'm sure in some lines that's unhealthy. I'm sure I need some healthy interaction, but I just want to know, is it just me? Somebody, come in the comments, man. Please, a lot of people, just come in the comments and let me know. Am I tripping? Am I just a prude? Am I starting another journey, or more of a spiritual journey, or what have you? But or am I maturing? Whatever terms you want to use to fill in the blank. But yeah, just come in the sections and let me know. Am I tripping? And like, share, and subscribe, man. Let's build a community, man. See y'all next video.